Just when things were looking bright for an MC, it gets worse, but it's not the end of the world yet. In the newest chapter of JJK 258, we learn that Sukuna is simply not someone who's going to back down from anything, so let's get straight into it. The chapter begins with the narrator explaining that after hitting 2 black flashes, Gojo created a special RCT circuit due to being in an awakened state. Sukuna was supposed to do the exact same thing to regenerate his arms. However, due to Yuji's 7 black flashes, Sukuna couldn't regain his RCT. The narrator later mentions that Yuji specifically hit black flashes just in between Sukuna and Megumi's soul realm. This means that Yuji was locked in and wasn't blatantly throwing punches to damage Sukuna. He was able to precisely throw punches that would separate the souls of Megumi and Sukuna, which is also probably why Sukuna was getting irritated by those hits. But just as impressive as Yuji's constant punches, it's also impressive that Sukuna tanked 7 black flashes and still hasn't given up. But after those black flashes, Sukuna instantly uses his domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine. Then the narrator states, the king's domain had returned to its master along with the black sparks. Yup. Who would have thought? But this time his domain doesn't look like a shrine. It's completely different. It looks like a mixture of crystals curled up into kind of like a ball shaped, I guess, I don't know. But with this new domain expansion, everything in his surrounding gets slashed into oblivion. The narrator continues by saying that despite including uncertain elements and including binding vows, Ryumin Sukuna had replicated Malevolent Shrine without dropping its effective range or output after experiencing the Black Flash. This was an absolute shocker because this made it sound like Yuji's Black Flashes were all for naught. And now it's time for a flashback. This is something I've noticed in the recent chapters. Even though there's a fight that's happening, you'll still get panels of characters discussing plans, and there's always Gojo who shows up, and I guess he's just there for the fans. In this flashback, Hikari says that it's important to learn RCT and countermeasures to domains for this fight, and Choso says that if it's about RCT, he and Yuji can manage somehow. Yuji wonders how, and Choso asks the RCT users how do they compensate for the blood when they regenerate their body. Hikari and Yuta couldn't answer, but Shoko says she converts CE into blood. Hikari says his RCT is automatic, and Yuta says he just goes by instinct. Choso says his body allows him to convert CE into blood, and if Yuji consumes his remaining brothers, he can gain their CT and the same properties as Choso to be able to convert CE into blood. Choso also says that the downside of using RCT, which is a large amount of CE consumption, is not a concern for them due to him and Yuji having their special bodies. Okay, so there was a lot of talk about RCT here, so let's break it down. RCT is of great importance with battles becoming more and more unpredictable, and having RCT will greatly increase your chances of survival, but the issue lies how to produce RCT. This was soon to be solved for Yuji, as Choso states because of their special bodies, which makes sense since Yuji has a big pool of Chris energy due to his origins. So Choso asks Yuji to be paired with someone who can use RCT when they do body swapping training. Yuji is confused, and Wee reveals that with the help of a CT, he can even swap the souls between human beings. So this has confirmed that Yuji has a technique to swap souls. We continue with Kusakabe saying since Sukuna took over Yuji's body and used his CT, Yuji's body now remembers a Jujutsu from a special grade. So they plan to do the same with soul swap training. Kusakabe will first swap with Yuji's soul and teach basic CE manipulation and simple domain to Yuji's body. Wee asks them to think wisely and make the pairs for soul swap training, cause with the limit of 1 month, he can only swap twice in this duration. This is an insane revelation that Yuji will learn and adopt techniques that will simply be given to him through his soul swap, but obviously due to time constraints, he needs to learn the most important techniques to survive. Yuji uses a new shadow style, simple domain, against Sukuna's domain. Yuji notices that Sukuna's domain is incomplete and there are some loopholes, so he can endure it. The narrator reveals that Sukuna can't maintain this high level domain for a long time and also cannot capture Maki, who has no CE within his domain. Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine will collapse after 99 seconds. Yuji, Maki, Ino, and Choso tries to endure the rampage. Kinda crazy, but makes sense since it's a brand new domain that is yet to be complete. Yuji's simple domain barrier cracks as it couldn't withstand Sukuna's domain slashes. Yuji gets slashed and he loses his left foot, but he's still unfazed. He notices that the slashes stop and thinks he endured the onslaught, but Sukuna immediately brings out flames. This was an insane chapter revealing the potential Yuji has with his new profound techniques and Sukuna's with his new destructive potential. Let me know your thoughts about the chapter and what do you guys think is going to happen next. On that note, like and subscribe for more JJK content.